Hello sports fans, I'm Harry and I'd like to welcome you to Harry's Stuff and Such. And it's Maker Box Month, so stick around and see what's in the box. And welcome back. As I said in the intro, it's Maker Box Month. This is my first Maker Box. And the reason I decided to try a Maker Box was there are a lot of filaments out there and I don't have an opportunity to try before I buy. So this gives me an opportunity to try some different filaments, some that I maybe haven't used before, and decide if I want to buy it and use it myself. So this is the June Maker Box. So let's see what's inside. All right. First off, we have this blue PLA from AIO. It has, it says a hot bed temperature, 190 to 230, and a bed temperature of room to 70, and a print speed from 30 to 120. Now, when I made some test prints with this, I printed it at, at 200. And a 60-degree bed, and I used the standard settings in my slicer PE. And then next we have, this is a Elixir Gold. It's a custom PLA blend that produces satin-like surface finishes. It has a print temperature from 200 to 220. And bed temperature room to 55, and print speed's a little, at least the max print speed's a little slower. I printed this again, I believe at about 210, and I used a 60-degree heat bed instead of 55 standard settings. We have some Engine Lux Color Fab Engine. This is a blended reflective material. It has a 220 to 240 degree C print, and it says here that the cooling is 0 to 30% cooling, and the bed temperature is up to 85 degrees C, 70 to 85 degrees C, and 40 to 70 millimeters per second, on the print speed. And then we have, for the number 4 in the box, was a Polymaker PC Max, which is a polycarbonate, and it was white. At a 250 to 270 degree print range on temperature, and an 80 degree bed, and a 30 to 60 or 30 to 90 on the speed, and 0 cooling is what I used when I print with it. So let's look at some prints. First up, I'm going to look at is the blue PLA, the AIO PLA. The first print is a buddy. And this is how he looks, and he looks pretty good. His feet are a little tinged, but that's because of the filament that was left in the nozzle. When I changed filaments, I didn't get it all out before I started to print, so his feet turned out to be a little dirty, but otherwise the print looks pretty good. Also, we have Tree Frog. Looks pretty good for the most part. These have not been post-processed. I did none of that. I didn't remove any of the strings. I left everything. In fact, there's one right there. I left them all on here so you could see. Also did Pikachu. I think it turned out quite well. Ears and all. And of course, you can't do a test without a Benchy, right? So there's Benchy. I think it looks pretty good. I like the way this filament prints. I like the way my printer, and I printed these all on my original Producer i3 Mark III. I think these turned out quite well. Okay, so next is the gold, the Elixir Gold. Now this looks pretty good. I like the way this looks. There's Buddy. I think he looks really good. Might be a little layers, something going on right here, I'm not sure. But for the most part, that looks good. Also, Tree Frog. This is a very beautiful colored filament. A vase in this would look really good. And Pikachu. I think Pikachu turned out really well. All of these were printed, every single one of these was printed at 0.2 layer height. And I like this Benchy. It turned out really good. Okay, next on the list was the Engine Lux. Now this says it's info on it says it's a color fab engine blended with reflective material that used to diffuse reflection to scatter light in all directions. For the eye, it's naturally impossible to spot layering even at 0.2 layer height, which is what everything was printed at. Now it suggested a print temperature of 220 to 240, so I chose the middle, which was 230. And also it said 0 to 30% fan. My first print, I chose not to use fan, turned it off. And this is what I got. The Benchy's got a little hair lick or maybe blowing some smoke. So it did not do well. And you'll notice there's a little something going on here as well. So I thought, well, I think I probably need to do some cooling. So I reprinted Benchy, but I lowered the temperature from 230 to 220, and I put the cooling at 30%. And that's the Benchy that came from that. I think that looks pretty good. That glitter or whatever material that is in there does kind of reflect and light in all directions. There's the top. Now once I got the cooling on, everything cleaned up. In fact, without the cooling, you'll notice on the other Benchy, the overhang didn't do too well. It drooped. And so that's what led me to say, I probably ought to do some cooling. So this definitely needed the cooling at 30%. Here's the Buddy that it produced. I think that's a good looking Buddy. The Tree Frog. But you'll notice there's some problems with the Tree Frog. His feet didn't turn out so good. So I'm not sure. I had the bed set, I believe, at 80. And I don't know if that was a problem. It said it recommends a bed temperature of 75 to 85. So I'm not sure what happened here. So then I decided I'm going to print a vase in this because it looks pretty good. I didn't have a lot left, so I downloaded a vase off Thingiverse and I printed it half size, and this is what it looks like. So I think that vase looks really, really good. And okay, right here is where the line, you barely can see it, where it met up each time as it was spiraling around. So, but that really does a great job. I like this filament. One bad thing I didn't like about this filament was that it can get messy. There was a large filament ball at the end of my on the end of my nozzle after this print, and it was a real pain in the butt to get off, but I did. So I like some of the prints, but I don't know if I like it enough to deal with it. It's not an easy filament, but I don't know. If I can print some vases like this, I think I might like it. Okay, so the next was the Polymaker polycarbonate, and I had some problems with it, and it was my fault, not the filament's fault. Anyways, one thing I wanted to print with it, I wanted to try one of the platform jacks, and it didn't turn out. I didn't have enough filament because I had some other failures and so forth. I didn't calculate things right, but anyways, this is what it did print. And you'll notice also it had a little adhesion problem right in here, but it looks really good, and this stuff is really strong. It's real strong. I like it. In fact, I like it so much I went ahead and ordered me some. So anyways, okay, so that's the 4 filaments I got this month for my MakerBox month, for my first MakerBox month. I think I'm going to enjoy trying these different filaments, and I'm not sure how long I'll continue to subscribe to MakerBox, but I thought I'd give it a shot. So anyways, that was this month's MakerBox. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, your thumbs down. But either way, won't you leave me a comment what you did or did not like, and I'll try to improve upon that on the next video. And also, hey, won't you press that subscribe button? I'd like to thank those that already have subscribed, and I would appreciate it if you would go ahead and push that subscribe button. Okay, so that covers all 4 filaments that were delivered to me in this month's MakerBox. So until the next MakerBox, you guys take care, and I'll catch you on the backside.